The January camp, aka Camp Cupcake, is now in the books. It is behind us. Thank goodness, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, and for all intents and purposes, this was a collection of players that, by and large, will never see the U.S. men's national team, A team, played in empty stadiums, certainly in Orlando. Good seats, bad seats still available. Playing opponents that were their B or C teams. Long stretches of this game that were close to unwatchable. You know, I was downstairs with my family and they watch a lot of soccer. They're not into it as much as I am, but they know bad soccer. And there's some times in the second half they're like, hey, can we change the channel? I'm like, no, I got to watch this. It was bad. Very few redeeming qualities across the board. However, if you look, that's why I'm here. We're going to do an abbreviated little show here. There were those redeeming qualities and a few lessons here to show where we are as a national team that I think you will appreciate. Maybe there are a few guys that can jump on the bumper of a national team camp in the future. We'll look at all of that here on the Soccer OG. You know what to do. Like and subscribe. Hit all those buttons. Like, subscribe. Tell a friend. And by all means, leave a comment. As you will see and know, I will have discourse with everyone. I enjoyed it. If you had a question about this camp, whether it was good or bad or indifferent, let us know. This is what we're watching. We know the masses are not tuning in. But we do, because it is a means to an end as we get towards the World Cup of 2026. So thank you for all the support. Let's get into this game. Here is the starting 11. A few changes, which I was relieved to see. In particular, Brian Gutierrez and Diego Luna. Gutierrez started the last game, but in that midfield, a few little personnel shifts in the defensive line. Different goalkeeper. I was very happy to see that Matko Miljevic wasn't going to start here because I was worried. Pochettino saw this Argentine bad boy, and not that he was going to be a piece for the future, or maybe he will. That's going to be one of the stories as we approach March. That he wasn't going to be this potential plan, which I said in my last video, to bring in a guy to, fire up players, to get them to see things differently. That said, Miljevic did come in the second half. I mean, he's a talented guy, although he had a bad shift here. He gets 120 minutes total. That's way too much for a guy who did nothing prior, but we're not here to talk about Miljevic, but we will see what happens in March, because I got that feeling that he likes him and still got a lot of minutes, more than Diego Luna or others, which is not right, because Diego Luna we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But good things here. January camp, we look back at the results. There were some bad ones where we lose games or tie games or don't score goals. We won both games. We scored 6 goals. It's good. That's good. But as we look further into it, there are some things I want to point out that will show you how far we have come as a national team. Nice goal early on in the first half, the first international goal for Brian White. Brian White, 4 or 5 years ago, would have been the number 4 striker, a type like him, in the national team pecking order. Right now, he's probably 8th. He has no shot of making the national team. He's a good international player, good club player, but there's too many good guys in front of them. I don't think we could have said that a few years ago. We don't produce creative midfielders. We're getting a little better, but historically we were good at goalkeepers, not right now, defenders, defensive midfielders, number 6s, number 8s. Brian Gutierrez and Diego Luna, who you could look as number 10s, play together, and that is very rare. Again, neither one of these guys I don't think are going to compete for the national team senior squad. But putting them there, going at defenders, showing what they can do. Look, there were some beautiful moments there when they were together. I was bummed that they left in the second half. But Gutierrez hitting some balls. Luna, who, again, Diego Luna, will take this time, because Luna was a big story here. Broke his nose, we were told. Went to the sideline, and it was off for 5 minutes. And when he came in, lays in the beautiful pass for Brian White that led to the first goal. If you stuck around for the end of the broadcast on TNT, the folks there did a fantastic job. Sarah Walsh, Brian Dunseth, Kyle Martino, and DeMarcus Beasley. Mauricio Pochettino, I mean, this was reason to have a January camp, to have 5 minutes with Pochettino just talking, being clever, funny, sincere, tell you what he's looking for. I was on his every word to hear what he had to say. The question was asked about Diego Luna and whether he was going to come in, and he said, we knew right away it was a broken nose. His face was a mess. And I think he's got that photo now, Luna does, as his social media avatar. And he was like, Pochettino kind of suggested, like, I don't think he should play. But he listened to the player and he says, Coach, I want to go in. They filled up his nose with cotton. And he said to the crew there, he goes, he's got big balls, which is, what a breath of fresh air. And everybody wants to have a pair, not literally, figuratively, man or woman. What it means is that you will do what it takes. You will cross a pain threshold for that opportunity, like Diego Luna did. And we heard Pochettino say that on national TV. That was incredible. So Diego Luna, and I want to say this about the players too, whether it's Luna or Gutierrez or Emeka Eneli or DeJuan Jones or Brian White. Normally the rule of thumb is your training for your club is much more intense than your training for your national team. You come for your national team, you kind of go through the motions. The Mauricio Pochettino training, according to everyone, is much more demanding and much more hands-on. I get the feeling, and it's going to be hard to visualize it, but those players that had these 2 weeks as they get ready for their MLS seasons to start are going to collectively start their seasons well, are going to be a cut above because they had these 2 weeks, because they feel good about themselves, because they're full of confidence. And Pochettino in that post-game address as well was very complimentary for the collective. Now, he did say this, and I don't know, it could be lip service, but he said, I told these guys he was very pleased, if they take the game seriously, there will be other opportunities down the road. Now, the reality is there's not many other opportunities for games in 2025 or ahead of the World Cup. There are, but it's going to be the big boys. Maybe a guy here or there can slip on a Gold Cup roster. But I take him for his word. I mean, I think he's going to think about it. I think he was impressed by this effort. I think these guys made him look good. So there it is. We will see. Again, I think the January camp will probably be 2 or 3 guys on that World Cup roster down the road because of shortage of players at certain positions. But that was good to hear. And we'll see what it means for Luna. But I think Luna and Rod and Gutierrez are going to benefit from this regardless they get another call-up or not. Zack Steffen might be on that World Cup roster. And he gets the start here, and he had to be thinking to himself, it's Costa Rica B team. I'm going to be sitting there cheering on my team, looking for my water bottle. Lo and behold, he gets 2 huge saves that most keepers would have probably missed one of them, if not both. And instead of the USA winning 1-0, they could have been down 2-1. And now there's tape on Steffen. I believe Matt Turner is still going to be 1. Pat Schulte is going to be 2. But Zack Steffen, number 3, means you get on the plane, or you get to stay home in the U.S. in 2026. He has got to be pumped. That was significant. That is significant. And maybe he can get a little bit higher. But those were excellent saves. And guess what? It means Pochettino keeps his winning record. He's going to be happy about that. Thank you, Zach. So that was a positive. Again, lots of changes at the half I wasn't crazy about. I thought you should have given Luna and Gutierrez a longer run, especially for Miljevic. Get that guy out of here. I'm just kidding. Just get him. The second half from minute 45 to 80 was awful. I mean, that was when you're watching and going, oh man, do I really want to invest this time? And we won't get it back. But it wasn't great. However, late in the half, the U.S. found a way. Kaden Clark with a cracking goal. Emeka Eneli wins the ball, crosses it in, and USA are up 2. Kaden Clark, I don't think he's going to move up the pecking order, nor Emeka Eneli. But, Emeka Eneli gets comparisons to Darlington Nagbe. And while I don't think he moves ahead of the likes of Johnny Cardoso or Aiden Morris or Tanner Tessman, he can play a couple positions. He's a late bloomer, and he got a lot of minutes. Emeka Eneli, keep an eye on him. I like him a lot. I got to cover him a lot at Real Salt Lake. He's progressing. he took his opportunity. Nobody took their opportunity any better. I mean, Jack McGlynn, I think, was the best player over these 2 games. He should be in Europe. He will be soon enough. I don't understand why these European clubs are being cheap with Jack McGlynn. Sign the guy, pay the money to the Philadelphia Union. But I don't think anyone made the most of this opportunity than Patrick Agyemang. He is a conundrum. His technical ability is poor, to put it nicely. It's pretty non-existent. He's never really trained that out at any degree. And being 24, I don't think it's going to get much better, although these 2 weeks will certainly help. But Patrick Agyemang has something that can't be taught. He's big, he's strong, and he runs downhill. And if you're a defender, you don't want to see him coming your way, and he finishes his chances. That could get him another sniff, and I believe it will, just because he's a specialist. I mean, we have some big strikers, but nothing like that. I mean, no one has a guy like that. And again, a guy who made Pochettino look good. So, Patrick Agyemang, who, by the way, just got a new teammate in Wilfried Zaha. That's going to be his guy. He's going to learn a lot more. This is somebody, whether he makes the national team, U.S. men's national team fan base should keep an eye on him because he's different. And he did well. He did well. So I'm excited about that. Overall, again, I'm just glad it's over so we can look towards the Nations League in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium. Can't wait for those games. And we can really start ramping up this year in 2026. But again, look closer and you will see good things about where our program is based on what we saw in January. And again, 2 weeks for Pochettino to grab his whistle and get to work. The Soccer OG, like and subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment. We're here for you, and we'll be back pretty soon with more videos. I'm having a good time. Are you having a good time? That's what I thought.